Hi, my name's Jerusha. I'm one of the pastors at FGA, and today I'll be taking session 3 of the mixtape series. So we all have songs in our minds that we listen to on repeat, and these songs actually cause us to act, think a certain way. And Psalms are God's songs that we can listen to on repeat through different seasons of our lives, through times of lament, of suffering, of joy and gratefulness, and even times when maybe we have prioritized other things above God. But the Psalms remind us to engage with God no matter where we're at. The Royal Psalms are songs that not only declare the sovereignty, power, and authority of God, but actually they give us insight, historical insight, into Israel's relationship with God. In ancient times, the king often determined the religion of the nation, and the monarchy often was intertwined with the religion of the nation. This wasn't just the case for Israel, it was the case for a lot of nations surrounding Israel. So for example, Chemosh was the god of the Moabites, and Milcom was the god of the Ammonites, and Yahweh was the God of Israel. When a nation won or lost a battle, often it was attributed to whether God was on their side. Or when a nation thrived and flourished, it was because God was blessing them. On the other hand, when it was in turmoil, so whether it be natural disasters or whether it was being invaded by foreign nations, it was because often attributed to God being unhappy with the nation or punishing the nation. So for most of Israel's history, we see a pattern of a people who constantly were unfaithful towards Yahweh. Not only did they reject him, they chose to worship other gods of the surrounding nations. And as a result, they actually took on the practices, the evil practices of these nations. They would fall into evil, and then God would punish them in order to turn them back. And then when they repented, God would draw them back, restore them, and then that cycle would go on again and again. And so these royal psalms actually give us an insight into the relationship between Israel and God through these cycles. And these psalms also encourage us to engage with God through different seasons of our lives, through times where maybe we are faithful to him, times maybe we haven't been faithful to him, or times that maybe we've neglected him. And no matter what season we're in, it doesn't actually disqualify us from engaging with God and being in his presence. So Psalm 97 is an example of a psalm that was written by King David, and it's linked to the psalm before and after it. It was written from a place of declaring faith in God as the ultimate ruler over all. And the second part of this psalm actually gives us a clue that Israel was actually surrounded by nations that worship other gods, and they were tempted to worship all these other gods. The psalmist declares that those who worship anything other than God will be put to shame. And this psalm is a song of affirmation of trust in God and living under his rule as his people. As we reflect on this psalm, we can also consider what that means for us. What does it mean for us to trust God and him as ruler over our lives in this modern day Babylon that we live in? A society that actually has a plethora of other gods all around us. What does it look like for us to affirm that God is the ruler of our lives? And how does that impact the way we live? So have time to reflect on that today, and I hope that you're blessed from the discussion.